What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Dos RC coming at you with another video today. So we got the Notorious XL on the bench. We have some upgrades that we're gonna be putting on them. So if that's something you are interested in, stay tuned, because we're gonna get this upgrade rolling. So let me show you guys what we're going to be installing and get this out of the way. First, GPM bulkheads. And these are going to be going in to keep the anodized blue aluminum scheme on this truck. And we're also going to be installing these, which is the tower to center diff braces, also in blue. What else? We have this center diff top plate that we're going to be installing, and we're going to also install this GPM 7075 47T spur gear. Ooh, if I don't break it. We also have these GPM diff cups, 7075 and carbon steel for the front and rear differentials to beef this bad boy up. And we're also going to be installing this custom Dos RC fan that I've made a long time ago. I make my own fans, so we're going to be installing that as well. I have one here as well. But anyways, so if that's something that you're interested in, stay tuned. I'm going to get the truck back on the bench and we're going to get this upgrade rolling. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is, for the most part of this install, is put you guys on hyperlapse, time lapse, speed up the video, and just stop it if there's something that I want to point out and whatnot. So that's what we're gonna do. Also, welcome back to the channel, guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching my videos. It means a lot to me, and it makes me want to keep going. Alright, now that we got the wheels off, so pretty much the front and rear clips gotta come off, and the center braces. So I guess we'll start with the bottom. You always want to remove the dirt from your screw heads when working on your RCs, because that's how you can strip the screws out or damage your tips. So there's the Amazon differentials. You know what? I might not put the GPM ones on there because I forgot I already have aluminum cases in the back. They're just from Amazon. Tiny rocks always get stuck in between things. Now I just have to loosen the servo arm, servo saver. And we'll put the screw back in there. So I know that's the one that goes there. And that should loosen the front. Another rock. I'm telling you, these rocks, man. These pebbles always get stuck in places. There's the front Amazon differential, which so far has been holding up just fine. Alright, let's keep going. So we got the front and rear clips off. Here's the rest of the chassis. Just trying to clean up some debris. Looks like it's a piece of paper. Just cleaning some of the dirt off the mating surface where the bulkhead sits on the chassis. Alright, we'll put that off to the side for now. While we work on the front and rear clips. I guess I'll start with the rear. I think it's the easier of the two, just because it doesn't have the steering system in it. So this is a 3D printed gasket that I got on Amazon. Looked like it did its job to keep the dirt out. It's still good. It's a little warped, but it's still usable. Let's see. Do I have to remove the wing? Yeah. Because... oh wow. Will you look at that? I didn't put these two screws in. Here and here. Interesting. Gotta make sure I put them on now. So there's the shock tower. It's loose. Alright, that's the bulkhead free. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but those pins are bent. Those are stock pins, by the way. They're not EXP or anything. No, I'm not sorry. Not I didn't mean EXP. I meant they're not M2C. So maybe down the road I'll invest in some M2C hinge pins. Alright, so now we gotta remove the differential from this case. So there's nothing completely wrong with Vitavan bulkheads. I'm just putting the GPM ones in there because they're blue. And that's the theme I'm going with this RC, all anodized blue. I need that shim. And that's pretty much it. These bulkheads are old. I've had these for 5 years maybe. So So they've held up and they've done what they're meant to do, which is keep that ring and pinion mesh nice and aligned. So that's the rear. Now I just have to put everything back together. That's the hardware bag. Looks like there's some shims in there as well. And reinstall. So I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, we're back. Took a quick break just to eat. So pulled the pins out of the rear arms and that's what they look like. These have, I think, one run on them. So I'm gonna bend these back and we'll be right back. Alright, pins are back in. I straightened them out on a block of wood and a hammer. But like I was saying, they have one run on them. Just goes to show you how weak the stock pins are. And maybe M2C is a better alternative, or another company that has hinge pins for the armas. So I'm just putting the diff back in here. See. Okay. I'm just gonna dry fit this before I put Loctite so I can check the mesh and see if I need to add any shims. That is really good, actually. No shims on the differential itself, just on the back of the pinion gear. Now let's add this shim back here. Put a little Loctite on this grub screw. Okay, there we go. And I want to go in. That feels good. So now I'm going to go back and add Loctite to these. So once again, no shims on the differential output cups, only behind the pinion gear, and then one on this side. And I don't know if you can hear that. That sounds pretty good to me. So this is ready to go back in. So we'll start putting it back together now. Let me see if I can turn this around. Take these out for now. What's going on, guys? We are back. So let's see, it's the next day and I went ahead and installed the bulkheads. So there's the rear, and here's the front. Looks pretty sick. So the only issues I found was the two rear hinge pins were a little bent, so I bent them back on a block of wood and a hammer. Those are all set now. The ones in the front were actually nice and straight. And as far as the shimming goes for the differentials inside the bulkheads, it was pretty like spot on. I didn't really have to use any shims on the differentials itself. No shims on here. I did use one shim each in the rear and in the front behind the pinion gear to push that pinion gear further. That's the only thing that I did. That's the only shim I used. And the mesh was like, I was really happy with the way the mesh felt between the two teeth between the pinion gear and the ring gear. So what we're gonna do now is we gotta put differential fluid in here. I'm gonna go with 20 million. Place this in here. And put the drive shafts in place, the front and rear. Get this thing installed, and then get these braces put in. And I gotta say, these things are beefy, man. They feel substantial, they look nice, and it's just gonna complete the entire thing. So I'm really happy I got these. There's gonna be absolutely no flex on this chassis. Yeah, this thing's gonna be pretty stiff. So I'm curious to see if I have any issues down the road running it like this. But anyways, guys, we're gonna get to it. I'm gonna get this thing taken apart, put the 20 million in there, and then I'll bring you guys back. Man, these are really in there. That Loctite. So I'm gonna put a fan on the motor. I'm already forgetting the drive shafts. I always do that. Because this is a 47 tooth, and I'm running, I believe, a 17. I'm running a 17 tooth pinion with a 47 tooth spur. So I know it's gonna run a little bit hot with this motor. That's a 2050. Yeah, 2050 kV Team Pirelli motor. 6S ESC by XC Technology. Amazon. Look at that. Nice and smooth. Just need to make sure it's seated in there properly. Nice. Now we put the top on. Get this bolted on. Where did I put those 4 bolts? Just use 4 of these. Make sure they're the same size. A little Loctite. What are you guys building, if anything? Leave it down in the comments. I want to know what you guys are working on. Maybe you'll give me an idea of what to build next. So I was saying I gotta put a fan on here, and what I like to do when it comes to the fans is I like to run a step down converter. Let's see if I can find it. I know I have one in here somewhere. There it is. So you can get these on Amazon. It's like a little microchip. What this does is, so what I'll do is I'll solder a positive and negative lead off the battery connector here, and I'll then solder that into the inside on the chip here, but on this side, and then I'll solder a negative and a positive going out, and I'll attach a female JST connector like that, put a female one to that end. And what this does is it steps down the voltage. So this is 6S voltage, so that's 25 volts. And these fans, where's the fan? These fans can only take up to 12 volts. If you try running this directly off the 6S power, it can burn them up. So this little thing steps down the voltage from 25 volts, which is 6S, to 12 volts. And then I plug the fan into that, and I'll sit like that. Keep that motor nice and happy and from overheating. So I still have to solder this to the ESC, and I do it right here at the battery connector. I've done it in the past where I soldered it to the main leads, but then you have like an exposed part on the wire. Even though I put heat shrink over it, it's easier if I just solder it to this here, because it's already a soldering point. So then I just put heat shrink all over this and on my wires, tidy it all up, make it look nice. And that way I have 12 volt power coming off the 6S 25 volt ESC. And if I wanted to, I could use that same connection point, 12 volt, to run lights or the fan for the ESC, etc. They have different kinds. They have some that, you know, do more amps, but for one fan this was plenty. And that little thing right there, I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. This, you can turn it, it's like a dial to set the voltage going out. So it's you can regulate. You can put it up to 12 volts or bring it down to 8. So it's sort of like a BEC of sorts. But yeah. Alright guys, we just got to put the braces on, and then I'm gonna work on that soldering, and then we'll come back and wrap up the video. So if you guys are still with me, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching the video. But we're almost done. So that's the front. A little too much. That's weird. Why isn't it going in? Interesting. Okay. So it just needs to move over a little bit. There we go. To catch. That actually looks pretty legit, guys. I'm surprised how thick these bars are. They're pretty legit. Wow, that looks amazing. Let me see if I can move these wires out of the way. Show you guys what I see. I still gotta tighten these motors bolts, but there it is, guys. Check that out. Hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. I love the anodized blue. We got anodized blue bulkheads, anodized tower to chassis braces, anodized tower to center diff braces. We have the brace mounts in anodized blue in the rear and the front. We have anodized blue shock towers. That looks sick. And we also have anodized blue Ackerman plate from GPM and anodized blue Amazon Special A, B, C, and D blocks in blue. A lot of blue. I'm gonna call this Bluey. But yeah, guys, there it is. I just have to solder that connector on there to run the fan. And she's ready to go. Put some wheels on it. She's ready to rip again. So what do you guys think? You think this thing came out sick? I think it did. You can barely see the blue anodized diff. It's another thing that we got in blue anodized. But I'm excited. I'm happy with it. I think it came out dope. So this is all blue, and then the Creighton EXB is all red. That looks sick. I could also get a blue anodized motor mount from GPM, but I think I'm gonna stop there because the motor is has a little bit of red. I think it should match, and also the shocks are red. I do have new rear shocks coming for the rear because these are pretty beat up looking. The fronts, they're not too bad, so I'm gonna keep those. And I also got some EXB V6 black ones that I got recently, but I think I'm gonna stay with red just because the motor mount's red and the motor is red, just to give it a little bit of that color contrast. But I think that looks pretty sick, guys. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this build. And thanks for sticking around if you did this long. I appreciate it. You guys have an amazing rest of your day, and bash on, brothers. Dos RC out.